Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Channel.
Live from Studio A and live audio and video streaming, according to David Ainsley. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Syre Perkins tracked machines specifically built for EVs. Why? How do they do it? What? Because they can. There you go. Conrad's going to have the In Wheel Time Car Clinic, and I'll bring you this week's auto news. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this hot Saturday. Woo-hoo. You know, I'm really, it's time for the big high pressure system and the heat to
go away,
subside. Just get us back into the 90s. That's all. Even 99. I'd be good with that. It's like a cool front blowing through.
Here's something funny. The owner came up to everyone this past week and said, "Hey, I sent everybody a link to the apparel that we use for the store. I want everybody, pick some apparel out, and so I've got some shirts for winter and summer and all that. And I bought a 3-layer jacket."
Did you really?
I did.
God. Leave it to
Last
Jeffrey.
Wednesday, I bought a 3-layer jacket.
Why
This, for like Alaska,
Yeah, you go there.
dog sled rides and all that.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to stay warm.
Yeah, well, you certainly don't have that problem
No, not today.
Syre Perkins is with a company called TowTrack Machines. Sy, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, it's great to have you with us, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. I know what a tracked machine is, kind of like a tank in the Army.
Right.
There are other ones, Caterpillar tractors, for instance. I mean, there's all sorts of tracked machines. Matter of fact,
Snowcats.
Snowcats. They also make conversion kits now that you can put on the back end of your car, or the front end too, car, truck, SUV, that are tracks.
They've had them for a while.
Yeah. So, but Sy's got a little different thing going on here, and Mars thought it would be fun for us to talk to you, and as opposed to me trying to explain to everybody what a car mover XL is, a TowTrack machine. Explain that to us, if you would, please.
Absolutely. Well, we offer two machines. One is the car mover. It comes in two sizes in Europe, but we're only offering one size, the XL, in the United States because of the weight. It handles the weight of the SUVs and the weight of the electric vehicles. Now, the car mover is basically a modified pallet jack that extends and picks a vehicle up by all four wheels. It's battery operated like a pallet jack. And you can take the EVs, the automobile dealers and auto repair facilities can easily, without any exertion, move a vehicle from inside and place it into a bay. And then you have the TowTrack, which is operating on a Caterpillar track system that picks up the vehicle. And we've got that in two sizes, and it comes in. You can get it into the XL into a diesel or a Vanguard or Honda gasoline engine, and it can go on any kind of terrain. It can go into 18 inches deep of water. It physically picks up a vehicle, put it onto a tow truck, strap it down, and then surgically place it. You don't need keys to the automobile. You don't have to touch the automobile except the wheels. To place a couple of straps down. Italy, it's required to be used in 14 EU countries for EVs and in England. Now, the machines came around about 2015, 2016, and it was the European solution because European vehicles went to an aluminum alloy or a magnesium alloy like BMW for the frame. And in America, everybody relies on a wheel lift and dolly. Well, the problem is on the European cars, the frame cannot take the flex of lifting up the front. It bends and shatters the windows of the cars.
Wow.
And as technology comes, as automobile manufacturers are making things lighter, stronger with carbon fiber, or the windows, or the aluminum alloys and traction controls, everything is changing for technology, and what we've been used to using is becoming obsolete. For example, with the EVs, as they're throwing them out, nobody looked at the engineering. The problem is the average electric vehicle is right at 7,000 pounds. Okay, that's a lot of weight. And if you look at a Escalade, a full-size Escalade, you're right around the 6,000, 5,800 to 6,000 pound range.
Oh, yeah.
The new Hummer has got a problem of registration because it's coming in at 10,400. And people are having a hard time getting them registered because it's technically a commercial vehicle. And with all the weight situation, dollies are rated at 2,500 pounds. The light-duty tow trucks are being phased out, and that includes the wreckers and the wheel lifting dollies. And the problem is most of the companies can't afford the upgrade. And the Federal Motor Carrier is making a push to go to 33,000 GVW trucks. And that's getting into your industrial flatbed carriers. And the machine is the only solution because EVs have no way, except for a few Teslas, have no way to go into neutral. There's no freewheeling, so you can't even push them. Item number 2 is there's no connection points because of the battery packs underneath the vehicles. And C is there's no, the winch doesn't have a connection point. It doesn't go into neutral. So how do you load it up onto a carrier?
So
And
it's,
people
Oh,
say,
my God. I had no clue.
I told you. So let me ask you this. So I didn't realize you can't go in neutral. The next time I get a full electric one, I'm going to test that out. I never tried that. But so the XL
yes.
that is like a modified pallet jack. So does it slide up underneath the tires to lift it up by the
No, it goes like
It
this.
goes underneath, and then it's got arms that come out and grab the wheels and then lift it up.
Have you ever
okay.
seen the back of a
videos.
pickup truck, Mike, where they repo a car or something and they slide it in and it flexes out
Yeah,
or
Very
spins
similar.
out?
I wasn't
similar
thinking
to
about
the
that.
pegs.
Okay.
Right. We have videos on our website at trackmachines.us, trackmachines.com. .com is Italia, the main company, and then here for North American operations, we're at .us. And you can also Google it or look for us on YouTube under Track Machines. It's one brand worldwide.
So I want to open up a chop shop, so I buy some of these and just go out and start ripping off cars.
And get electrocuted while you're cutting
Well,
them
not
in half.
necessarily the
there's a
EVs.
little, you can't just buy it. The products are custom made to order depending on what area of the country you're at. What do you need? Some companies might do repossession. Some might be like if you go up north, automobile repair facilities also run towing operations
Right.
off the auto repair facility license. And then depending on if you're doing more recovery work or you're doing transport towing like roadside assistance, we ask because when we say the machines are custom made for your operation, I'll give you an example. Are you more on asphalt or are you more on off-road? Because of the Caterpillar track system, the rubber tracks, you might need it more knobby or you might need it more flat for the asphalt. You might need, that comes in a couple of different size winches. Do you need to do more winching for weight? Do you understand what I mean? It's all the engineering.
Right.
Yes, these are
All
all
the
custom-made
engineering.
machines.
Yes.
Interesting.
And like I said, in law enforcement worldwide, 14 countries, like in England or Austria or Germany, if you have an EV, it breaks down. Police are required to bring out the machine. And the reason is, how often does a tow provider come out in a truck and he's got the wrong equipment for the job?
Oh, yeah. I've
Often.
seen that many
So
times.
the machine takes care of that. No matter what the problem is, the machine just picks up. The EV can handle the weight. You pick it up, load it up, you're gone within 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay,
but
I'm broken
the
down.
machine
I'm broken down on the side of the road. how do I get the machine to the side of the road out on I-10, say?
Yeah, the tow truck carries the machine. You unload the machine via remote control. The machine will pick up the vehicle, and then you load it, pick up the vehicle, and then carry it onto the truck and load the machine and the vehicle onto the truck and then drive off.
Oh, so it what is it? Is it that small that it just kind of butts up to against the front or back bumper?
On a 21-foot bed with the load, yes. The machine weighs, go ahead, 4,000 pounds, and then you got a 7,000, you're at 11,000, and then the beds are rated for 12,000, so you're well within your GVW standards.
Which is one of the reasons you got to go to the bigger trucks because of all that.
That's correct.
Conrad's got a picture from your site on here.
Yeah, I've got your website.
And what powers that? What powers that? And what size motor is on that device?
Which machine are you looking
Well,
at?
there's
I'm looking at the XL.
The TowTrack XL.
TowTrack XL.
TowTrack XL is powered by a Hyundai 3-cylinder diesel.
And if I'm looking at this correctly, the track system, the tracks,
Caterpillar.
Those are
Caterpillar track system.
Those are hydraulics. That's hydraulically driven. That's not a prop shaft driving a drive wheel.
That's correct.
That looks like it's
correct.
hydraulically driven track system.
That's correct.
So what would the max speed of the tracks system be?
It comes in 2 speeds. You got to flick the button. Slow speed is 1.51 miles an hour, and then the fast speed is like 2.2 miles per hour. Now, in the engineering of the machine, people say it's awful slow. Well, if you're picking up 10,000 pounds and you do the algebra,
There's nothing fast.
that's correct because of the weight. And what makes it so unique is when it's loading it, when it loads and unloads, it's autonomous computer control. That's what makes it a robot. Now, you control frontwards and backwards, but when you are loading up the machine, the computer control does not allow the machine to shift right or left. It picks up while walking underneath the vehicle.
Oh,
And for lack of a better phrase, let me call it the vehicle cartridge, that the device that actually picks the vehicle up.
Yes.
Is it aligned with the tracking system on the Trax device, or can that rotate 90 degrees to allow you to go into a parallel parked car, lift, extract the vehicle
spin it around
without having to come at it from the front?
Okay, no. It's got the front head system can pivot 45 degrees.
Okay.
You would come at it at an angle, lift it up, and then bring it out. But to load it and unload it, you got to
reposition.
It's got to get parallel.
Reposition, but you've got to pick it up from either straight point or straight back. But the head does shift 45 degrees either direction.
Si, does anybody have one of these in Houston right now?
Actually, it's funny you say that. There are 2 companies in Houston right now, as of yesterday. 2 different companies are looking to buy.
Oh, okay. They're looking to buy. I like it.
They've asked, they've requested proposals or quotes, and they've been in contact with financing.
Because we need it. You know, we got lots of people here in lots of different situations, but I can definitely tell you now.
One thing I want to clarify.
Yes.
This machine is been because of the EVs handles the EV problem, but the original intention and the engineers that built this was used to move disabled or salvaged cars in grassy areas, rocky areas.
Because of the tracks.
So the whole machine is technically a yard horse. It's got a boom. It's got a winch. It can pick up vehicles perpendicular from the side and move them. It can pick up an engine block and move it with the boom. It's got a 7,500-pound winch, so it can do some recoveries. The technology on it is just insane. The XL machine that you were talking about can lift a 5,500 rollback truck.
Wow.
And the problem is the rollback, the 5,500s are being phased out by the insurance industry because if you're not familiar with it, there was a big problem 2 years ago where involving a Ford Mach-E. And the Mach-E, they contacted Ford Roadside, which is operated by Ajero. Ajero sent out a tow provider to go do it. He didn't know what to do. He hooked up a Mini J to the battery rail, caused $28,000 of damage to a brand new $80,000 Ford Mach-E, and no insurance. The tow company's insurance wouldn't cover the claim. The dealership wouldn't cover it, and the automobile owner wouldn't cover it. So $28,000 was conducted through roadside assistance. And when they got the
and nobody was held accountable.
Federal Motor Carrier involved, everybody involved, they said it's an illegal act, and all bets were off. There was no insurance coverage.
If Mike wanted to buy one of these, how much would Mike have to pay for it?
Anywhere from $125,000 to $135,000 for the regular size one.
There you go, Mike.
Depending on the configuration.
And then you got to buy the truck that hauls it around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of people have medium-duty trucks like an International, Ford 650, or a Hino or a Freightliner. Those will cover it.
Yeah, generally they're already going to have the truck because they're kind of in that business in some form or fashion.
That's correct.
You know, like where I found you through the website, the guys up in New York, they were working out of their auto repair shop, but this is something else they did.
Well, that's kind of misleading. They have they tow for it. It looks like an auto repair shop, but they have 6 locations. They do everything for at JFK Airport. They have 6 locations. They tow for the NYPD and New Jersey, New York Port Authority. So they're a lot bigger than what they seem.
They're in the business. So if they go out and spend $125,000 to $150,000 on one of these machines, it's going to fit right in with their business model.
You know where this would be good? Parking Wars.
Parking Wars. You ever watch that show?
Yes, I have.
Well, this would be perfect on Parking Wars.
Yeah.
Could be.
You just smiling.
And it would be free advertising.
Could you see Lizard Lick towing?
Or Lizard Lick towing.
Could you see Ponytail driving one of these?
Lizard Lick up in North Carolina, they turn and burn, and what they're doing isn't as complicated as it is in the metro areas that have parking garage or other areas.
Confined spaces.
This would be a perfect device inside of a parking garage because you wouldn't be able to get
parking garages or swampy, rough terrain, or if you've got a mixture of both.
Swampy.
We've got a couple of machines in North Carolina. Got a couple. We've got 28 machines in Canada right now. I think we got 21 machines in the United States, and there's a big push under the National Incident Management, which used to be the Traffic Incident Management, which is like keep the highways clear.
Safe clear.
And there's a big push to make this mandatory. We were at Grand Rapids at the National Sheriff's Association, and towing is going to change probably 200% in the next 24 months. Because the commercial transportation insurance community is starting to train law enforcement of the do's and don'ts and what tow providers can do. And it used to be if it fits, it ships, the tow, get her done. Well, now that's changing. Law enforcement through the insurance carriers are making 100% accountability. And there's another issue that's in the background that they just found out. The whole roadside assistance program has not changed, and most of the operations are in violation of law.
Oh, my God.
And what's happening is if you transport, let's say you transport freight, you got to get a bill of lading. Well, the recent court case, and it relates to the Ford Mach-E, that same bill of lading has to be given in the position of towing, and nobody's been getting that kind of accountability. You've got to have documentation. You got to have a state issued ID. This is required under the Homeland Security Act, and all of a sudden it's opened up a can of worms. And what's caused this to this point is all the damage claims for these new vehicles being made to the insurance carriers by the tow providers. So now the commercial insurance carriers are trying to find ways not to cover the claims. And
or not insure the vehicle.
Yeah, that's the next thing.
Yeah. I give you an example. Look at the EVs. The average repair cost of an EV is insane. The tow it, the insurance, a regular towing company can't tow an EV. He's got to have an insurance addendum that allows for the EVs. EVs are regulated by the U.S. Department of Energy. It's not a vehicle. People might tell you that, but it's regulated by the Department of Energy. So your weight statistics on the side, the stickers on the car, all the information doesn't have to be correct. And then you bring in the hazardous material aspect for a thermal runaway fire that's going to last 36 hours and burn at 3,000 degrees.
Oh, that's not, yeah.
Oops. So how do you handle that problem?
Right.
Wow.
So it gets pretty complicated quick.
You know, we need to talk to you some more. We run out of time here, but we're going.
I'm available anytime you need me.
Well, we got your phone number, and you may be getting calls from a television station. You never know. But Sy, it's great to talk to you. Great information.
Absolutely.
Tracked machines. Wow. Who would have thunk
How
it?
cool.
Yeah. So we're gonna delve into this some more soon, and we really appreciate you taking the time to explain all this to us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
You got it. Oh my God!
I know,
Talk
very
about
cool.
a can of
telling
worms.
you.
Oh my God!
You need to hook him up with Buzz.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get some popcorn and we'll watch.
Yeah,
There you go.
All right, time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. I think that
Yay.
you have something on that, do you not?
Yes, I do.
I like that because I think we're talking to air filters today.
Correct.
Okay.
You know, and air filtration's pretty important part of the car because you want to keep all that particulate matter out of the combustion chamber that's going to scratch the cylinder walls and damage the piston rings.
That is on your ICE engine.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you're keeping all of that particulate matter out of the inside of the engine. So through the years, manufacturers have played around with different air filtration systems. This one being basically an oil bath air filter out of a Tri-5 Chevrolet. Very typical of that generation. That they were actually the filtration media was bathed in oil.
Right.
And then the air would pass through it. And, you know, a lot of this all depends on how much what's called media, how much surface can you get the air to pass through is how much air you can get to rush in, because if you restrict the amount of air going in, the power the engine puts out is reduced. So then they moved to more of a round pleated filter, which is pretty common. Everybody sees that. You know, that was kind of what was on top of your quadrijet or such. And that was, you know, you've heard Jeff and I talk about turn the air filter upside down and listen to the roar. Very, very common for a pleated filter. And the reason they pleat it is it creates more surface for the air to pass through. But what the filter does is it traps the particulate matter as the air passes through. So, you know, one side of the filter is going to collect dirt. The other side of the filter should be clean. Now, just taking it out on the ground and banging it to get all the dirt out of it's probably not the best thing to do, because that can affect the size, the micron size of the media itself. So now if you look at how big the micron size is of the media, a human hair is going to be 35 to 200 microns. I think 35 is a blonde, 200 is a redhead. Pollen size is somewhere between 10 and 100 microns. You know, so you want, you know, that can be abrasive in there as well. Spores, 10 to 35 microns. Bacteria, 0.3 to 35 microns. And the typical air filter is going to be somewhere in the 7 to 10 micron filtration area. So they're trying to catch a lot of stuff. So you need to make sure you're replacing your air filter frequently enough to get all that stuff out. So, you know, lung damaging dust is about 0.5 to 5 microns, and smoke is generally 1/100th to 1 micron. You know, and then the next generation of filtration that's out there, again, there's still vehicles that use the round pleated filter, and then they've gone to the cartridge filter, which is the short, stocky one. But you find a lot of cars today are going to have the square box pleated filter, which is extremely common. So how do you get more air through one without allowing more debris or contaminants to pass through it? And that's where you get the K&N filters. So what they've kind of done is they've looked back in past and added an oil coating to these filters. So as the material, the air passes through, the oil is trying to collect like a glue to stick the contaminants to the filtration device itself. So if you've got a K&N, you want to make sure you keep it clean it with soap and water, and then you want to rebathe it with the oil itself.
They actually have some cleaning spray that you put in there,
and
let it soak, and then you wash it out.
Oil.
Yep, and then
re-oil. So again, it's still, there's maintenance required even if you have the K&N. But the K&N is going to be a 20 to 25 micron opening, so it's going to let a lot more air through. No, they're not cheap. Yeah. But it lets a lot more air flow through, and that's where the power increases come from.
I got some recalls real quickly before we have to take a break. Obstructed center high mount brake light on the Chrysler product. Jeep Wrangler 2023. Toyota Tundra and Tundra Hybrid, fuel leak from a damaged fuel tube, 22 to 23 models. Chevy Bolt, 22 to 23, front passenger airbag may deploy improperly. All sorts of Ford F-250, 350, and 450 incorrect rearview camera image. Every Mercedes, well, not every, but 2023 model years of Mercedes, you're going to have to look that up because there's too many to tell you. Jeep Compass, 22 to 23 instrument panel light, not adjustable. Rear view camera image not displayed. Jeep Grand Cherokee, Wagoneer, and Grand Wagoneer, 21 to 24 models. And that's it for that segment. We got more news coming up in our next hour, so we invite you to stay tuned for that. Well, that's it for this hour of the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We've got more coming up right after this quick break.
The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Loopy Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Loopy Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Loopy Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Loopy Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Loopy's. It's located just off I-10 of the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Loopy Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Loopy Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In-Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWillTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise Inn, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music.